Medieval India, chapter number 11, page number 124, the Sufi movement. The 10th century is important in Islamic history for a variety of reasons. It marks the rise of the Turks on the ruins of Abbasid Caliphate, as well as important changes in the realm of ideas and beliefs. In the realm of ideas, it marks the end of the domination of the Mutazila or rationalist philosophy and the rise of orthodox schools based on the Quran and the Hadith, traditions of the Prophet and his companions, and of the Sufi mystic orders. The rationalists had been accused of spreading skepticism and atheism. In particular, it was argued that their philosophy of monoism, which held that God and the created world were fundamentally one, was heretical on the ground that it abolished the difference between creator and the created. The works of the traditionalists crystallized four schools of Islamic law. Of these, the Hanafi school, which was the most liberal, was adopted by the Eastern Turks who later came to India. Mystics, who are called Sufis, had risen in Islam at a very early stage. Most of them were persons of deep devotion who were disgusted by the vulgar display of wealth and degeneration of the morals following the establishment of the Islamic Empire. Hence, these saints wanted to have nothing to do with the state, a tradition which continued later on. Some of the early Sufis, such as the woman mystic Rabia, 8th century, and Mansur bin Hallaj, 10th century, laid great emphasis on love as the bond between God and the individual soul. But their pantheistic approach led them into conflict with the orthodox elements who had Mansur executed for heresy. Despite this setback, mystic ideas continued to spread among the Muslim masses. Al-Ghazali, dated 1112, who is venerated both by the orthodox elements and the Sufis, tried to reconcile mysticism with Islamic orthodoxy. This he was able to do in a large measure. He gave a further blow to the rationalist philosophy by arguing that positive knowledge of God and his qualities cannot be gained by reason, but only by revelation. Thus, the revealed book Quran was vital for a mystic. Around this time, the Sufis were organized in 12 orders or silsilas. The silsilas were generally led by a prominent mystic who lived in a khanqah or hospice along with his disciples. The link between the teacher or the peer and his disciples or murids was a vital part of the Sufi system. Every peer nominated a successor or wali to carry on his work. The monastic organization of the Sufis and some of their practices such as penance, fasting, and holding the breath are sometimes traced to Buddhist and Hindu yogic influence. Buddhism was widely prevalent in Central Asia before the advent of Islam, and the legend of the Buddha as a saintly man had passed into the Islam legend. Yogis continued to visit West Asia even after the advent of Islam, and the yogic book Amrit Kund had been translated into Persian from Sanskrit. Thus, Hindu and Buddhist practices and rituals seem to have been absorbed and assimilated by the Sufis even before they came to India. Whether Buddhist philosophic ideas and Vedantist ideas had in a significant manner influenced Sufism is a matter of controversy. The origin of ideas is difficult to trace. The Sufi saints and many modern thinkers trace the Sufi ideas to the Quran. What is important to note here that, irrespective of origin, there were many similarities in the ideas of the Sufis and the Hindu yogis and mystics about the nature and relationship of God. soul, and matter. This provided a basis for mutual toleration and understanding. The humane spirit of Sufism is well known. The humane spirit of Sufism is well expressed by Sanai, a leading Persian poet of the time. Faith and infidelity both are galloping on the way towards him and are exclaiming together, "He is one and none share his kingdom." The Sufi orders are broadly divided into two: Bashara and those who which followed, that is, those who which followed the Islamic law, Shara, and Beshara, that is, those who were not bound by it. Both types of the orders prevailed in India, the latter being followed more by wandering saints. Although these saints did not establish an order, some of them became figures of popular veneration, often for the Muslims and Hindus alike. Thank you everyone for tuning in. In the next part, we'll start with the Chishti and Suharwardi silsilas. All the best for exams. Do share and subscribe the channel for more videos like this. Thank you and all the best.